Good morning. Happy Sunday. Hope everybody's having a great day. I just got back from the store. I was thinking about this will be my last video about the Switch 2, but I don't want to talk about the Switch 2. I want to talk about the Switch 1. A lot of times when I think about stuff, I go in the house and I want to record. And a lot of times when I'm in the truck or when I just get off work and I get in my truck, I don't drive my car that much. But anyway, sometimes I get in my car and I think about stuff. I was like, man, that'd be a good video. And so before I went in the house, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to record this and just wing it. And I'm going to let you guys know from here on out, a lot of these videos I'm going to be winging. If I got a thought, I'm going to throw it up there. It can't, just put it out there. But I was thinking about the new Nintendo Switch that's coming out, which is Switch 2. I know there's a lot of controversy about all that. We all covered that. But I was thinking about the original Switch. And I was saying to myself, man, I think this thing is going to have a long shelf life. It's going to be on a lot of people's shelves. And I was seeing the other day that, the OLEDs are dropping in price because the new Switch 2 is coming out. So, I was just thinking about, Nintendo as a company, man, they're sitting there looking at everybody getting upset, and then they're probably getting phone calls, from whoever's, they're probably getting phone calls in corporate saying, hey, we noticed that a lot of the old Switches are selling like hotcakes because we're dropping the price on the OLEDs. And so, Nintendo is kind of winning on all fronts. A lot of people can say what they want to say, but I'm thinking that, man, Nintendo made this announcement, and a lot of people's like, well, I'm not gonna buy that Switch 2, and I'm gonna boycott it and this and that, because the other day when I was thinking about, we as consumers, we're in charge of how things go. We're in charge of this truck I'm sitting in. We're in charge of the car that just went by, the truck that just went by. We're in charge of everything. If we don't spend, they can't profit. So at the end of the day, if you guys, all y'all folks out there that's upset about, we always seem to want to find something to blame. I'm in debt because it's my fault. Did nobody tell me to go out and buy this and buy that and buy this and buy that? Now I got to go in debt. I know people that went in debt and they're struggling. And, sometimes when you hear about somebody needing some help, you don't have no money, but you go ahead and give them a little money that you might have just to help them, just to keep them going. People done that for me. I've done that for people lots of times. So a lot of times we are the ones that are at fault of what we buy. No one's telling y'all to go out and buy the Switch 2 at all, period. If you don't like the Switch 2, then go out and play your regular Switch. Don't buy it. Just play your regular Switch. But the point I'm making is, I think that the Switch is going to have a long shelf life. I really do. I mean, you still got people that's playing the PS3 and the PS3 and the Xbox 360. And, I still got my PS3 and I still got my Xbox 360. And I'll turn that on every now and then when the theme comes, all the new, all the game consoles got their own little theme that comes on it. Now, sometimes I just smile when, it comes on. So, I was thinking, I was like, I got home and I just pulled up. I just left Walmart and got my groceries, and I was going to go to church, but I'm not going to be able to make it because I procrastinated. That's my fault. But I think that the Switch is going to have a long shelf life. I really do. I think that, I was thinking, there's a lot of Switches that are still in stores, retail Switches, in retail stores. And I wouldn't be surprised if people start buying them things up because they still look good. They still look good. The only thing you want a more powerful system and a more upgraded FBF and 60 frames or 40, whatever. I don't know that technical stuff. I play my PS3. I never see all that stuff. You can see it if you put it beside something. It's like, I bought, when I bought different TVs, nothing's wrong with the TV that I got unless I just go in the store and I see another TV and I see the picture. You're just seeing a better picture. And when you see all the TVs beside each other, you can see a difference in quality. You know, you can see the difference between Samsung and Sony, Hisense, TLC, blah, blah. But all of them are good in their own little way. So this is just a quick video. I was just thinking when I pulled up in my truck, I was like, man, I think Nintendo's going to have a long shelf life, because what people fail to realize is I've even seen some of these YouTubers, big YouTubers, you know, these last few days, it's just been, you know, the switch to this and Trump's tariffs and all this kind of stuff, you know. And, you know, if I'm a company, I got to figure out how to, you know, offset all that. So I don't blame the company for actually wanting to hold off and, you know, figure out what they want to do. But in the meantime, you know, I can go in there right now and I can play my Switch and that thing works perfectly fine. It is like brand spanking new. Why? It's because I'm the only one that had it. I'm the only one that plays it seldomly. And it just sits there. It's not scratched. It's not anything. It's still sitting there. It's like it is when I first bought it. Once in a while I'll play it. Once in a while I actually play that, you know, the Switch. Like last night I was playing Ratchet and Clank. Got super happy because I was stuck. And when I figured out why I was stuck, I was like, my God, Vic, you was sitting there stuck on that? I say, man, all you had to do was do that. And when I did it, I was so happy. I was like a big kid because I love playing video games, but at the same time, I don't have enough time to play video games. You know, I like to play, but sometimes I have to spread things out. You know, between trying to stay fit, look, when you're trying to stay fit and you're on a diet and you're trying to live my life is very basic, but I do work out 4 days a week. I watch what I eat. Weekends, I splurge chips and dip and all that kind of stuff. But you need your rest. You need your rest if you want to get your rest when it comes to going to work. But back to this Switch. You guys, do you realize there are Switches that are still in the store? So your Switch 2 is still not out yet. So if they delay this, like if they delay this, right? Sorry about the camera. If they delay the thing until June or whatever, figure out what the price is. I told y'all straight up, man. I sunk money into this truck, and it's just a one-time. No. When I bought the truck, it was a one-time purchase, but you got to upkeep the truck because trucks and cars cost a lot of money to upkeep, you know, tires, tune-up, oil change. But with my game systems, there's nothing in there. You just hook it up to the internet and you just play it until it just gets wore out. But my systems don't get wore out. And a lot of y'all out there, your systems are not wore out. Now, some of y'all might be playing more than I'm playing, but at the end of the day, you know, to this day, I'm still fascinated by the Switch. I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is that I hear all this about the Switch 2 and, I'm a not buy Switch. I'm done now. I'm officially done. How you going to be officially done when you still got your Switch sitting in the house? You still got your Switch in the house. You ain't going to throw that thing outside the trash. You're going to play it. Now, a lot of people might say this. Of course, I'm not going to throw it in the trash. I'm just using this as an example. You say you're done. You might be done with the new system, but you ain't done with your Switch. You know, because what Nintendo will probably do, this is 2025, 2027, they'll probably make announcements saying we're going to stop. Now, they're going to try to make games strictly for the Switch 2 to make you want to get it. But Metro Prime 4 don't bother me. I got Metro Prime 4. I got Metroid Prime, the original that they did a remake of. The original game, I got that, and that thing looks great on my Nintendo. So I'm looking at all the retails that's got all the original Switches, and they got OLEDs, not to mention Amazon and all these other outlets that's still sitting on those systems. You don't think people are going to start scarfing them things up, especially when they found out that the Switch 2's got all these issues with the tariffs and they want more money and they're only asking 80 and this and that and blah, 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 blah. It's been plastic. But in the meantime, you still got that Switch sitting over there and you still got, you know, all the Switches and all the OLED switches that are still sitting in retail stores ready to be purchased. So I think the Switch, the original Switch, is going to have a long shelf life. And with the way, with the way Nintendo makes their games, when I play, Nintendo games. Now my son, he games. My oldest son used to game. He just don't game no more. He don't do. I don't know what he does, but he don't game. He said he just ain't into it. My youngest son, he used to game, but he just got married, so he's got a responsibility. My other boy I just met, he found me. He games, but I don't know how much he games. My daughter, she doesn't game that much. She's more like me, like to watch movies. But I'm like, man, he got rid of his Switch because he said he didn't play it, and then he ended up buying another one, and then he said he doesn't even play that one. So, but he got a PS5 Pro, but. I'm just saying, y'all, I think that this original Switch is going to have a long shelf life. I really do. And the point that I was making, that's the point I want to make, is Nintendo makes games that brightens me up. Like when I play Xbox and I play, Sony's games, they've got more deep dive, more serious games, it's more of a story, and you're gunning down stuff like that. And, they got a good deep story with a lot of games, especially Sony. Microsoft not too shabby either. But Nintendo, when I turn my Nintendo Switch on, I feel giddy because it's so bright and colorful, and it's just like like that. And that's what I like about Nintendo. If you want something just fresh and something like a breath of fresh air, you can always go to that Switch and you could play those games. Even though there's games on there that's important, that's got serious stories and all that kind of stuff. But Donkey Kong Tropical Breeze, I got that. Love that game. I got that one game. It's real pretty. Samura EX. Love that game. Beautiful game. I got that Luigi's Mansion. Love that game. I ain't played it yet, but that game looks awesome. Still ain't played it yet. So I got that one Breath of the Wild, but it's just not for me. I can see the brilliance in it. So anyway, y'all, that's all I got. I just wanted to drop this video. I really think that this everybody's going to be on the, I'm interested in closing just how many people is going to buy the Switch 2, in spite of all the complaining. I mean, all the complaining. And some YouTubers, they weren't complaining. They was just talking about, hey, the Nintendo Switch can do this. Some of them was like, they were kind of like trying to be cool about it. It's like, I don't understand this, but I just don't understand the concept behind that. But they weren't mad. Then you got some YouTubers, man, they just throwing up videos just for click's sake, Not all of them, but some of them do, Some say don't buy the Nintendo Switch is their thumbnail. But the same person that says don't buy a Nintendo Switch 2 is the same one that's going to say, well, I decided to buy a Switch 2, and they'll make up some excuse like, it's my job and it's my profession, and that's why I have to buy it. No, you don't have to buy it. You're just buying it because it's your channel, and you don't have a job apparently. Some of us out here live like I do, and so I don't have to buy a Switch 2 because I don't have that kind of traction on my channel that I have to buy a Nintendo Switch. So I have to tell you guys about how this Nintendo 2 is in the box and the packaging and how I open it up and it looks like this, come on, please. Now, I've done that because I was excited about my PS5 because it took so long to get the PS5. But, as far as shelf life, man, I think that Nintendo Switch is going to have a long shelf life. I mean, a long shelf life. I mean, I think it's gonna have a long shelf life. What do you guys think? Anyway, I just thought I dropped this random these random thoughts because when I'm in my truck, when I just get off work sometimes, I'm like, man, I be, and then when I get home, oh, I might do a video. And then when I get home, I get the camera, and then I get a blank. So when I'm in the truck, I'm like, I'm gonna throw this up. So what do you guys think? Remember, in closing, one, you still got original switches in stores, not to mention Amazon and Best Buy. And then Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon, I'll use them three. And you have the Nintendo Switch OLED that a lot of people didn't buy. Some people did, but some people didn't. They might want to just go ahead and get the OLED Switch original. So Nintendo is a company, and they're looking down, going like this. Well, it's a lot of them Nintendo Switches are starting to sell all. Well, we're doing good, man. Ever since we made everybody mad with the Switch 2, everybody seems to be jumping on that OLED. We're still making money. God bless and have a great week. Be safe out there, y'all. Be safe and have a great week up and coming. We'll see you.